And we welcome Mayor Byron Brown back to News 4 for our monthly Ask the Mayor segment. We appreciate you coming in, as always. We have a lot to cover. As you know, it's been a busy week for you. He has just released a new snow plan for the city. You made it right under that November 1st deadline. And let's talk about the deadline. All of a sudden now, this is a topic because the Common Council wants to look at it. They're going to look at it at their next meeting. Is November 1st too late to get a snow plan in place? They'd like to move it up to April. What do you think about that?
November 1st has been the time frame for a long period of time. I would be open to moving up the date that the snow plan is presented to the council. I think April 1st is too early. I think something like September 1st might be a good time period, but I'll certainly talk to the council about that. I know that they've introduced something and certainly want to talk to them. I think April 1st is too soon.
Why?
Because we're just coming off the snow season at that time, and it doesn't give the proper amount of time for the planning that I think is needed to prepare the snow plan properly.
I think the concern there, and we're into it right now, is the longer you wait, the harder it is to get new equipment in here, new items in here, new people in here.
Really doesn't have anything to do with the plan, though. We know that every budget season in the city of Buffalo, we need to order equipment. Unfortunately, with supply chain issues, getting that equipment in can take a year and a half, can take 2 years, and that's the problem. It's not the timing of the snow plan.
That's where we are right now with some of this equipment that's already been ordered. Let's move on to the one of the biggest issues in this plan is about these warming centers in the 9 districts of Buffalo, and you've designated those where those will be.
Yes.
Even today, I've heard that generators were being delivered to where are they being?
Yes,
Delavan Grider, right?
Yes, so generators are being delivered simultaneously to the 9 warming shelters. Obviously, the warming shelters are not in use right now, and it is our belief that by the time we would get into an extreme weather situation, we will have warming shelters that have auxiliary power so that if electricity goes out, that the city doesn't control, we would have backup generators to make sure that there is light and heat in the warming shelters.
And of course, we're in November right now. So now we're talking generators, we're talking cots, we're talking food, water, and supposedly 2 EMTs assigned to every district.
That's right.
Warming center. So are those plans ready? Are they ready to go? It's November.
Those plans are ready. The fire commissioner has made preparations to have 2 EMTs at every warming shelter. The commissioner of the Department of Community Services will have each of those shelters staffed, and we will have supplies of meals ready to eat and cots in those warming shelters. Obviously, our hope is that we don't get blizzard conditions again this year, but right now we are in the process of getting everything equipped that we need to have in place for an extreme weather situation.
Okay, Mayor, by the time you're here next month, can we safely say that all of that will be done, that equipping in each district warming center?
Yeah, in the emergency shelters, all that equipment will be done by this time next month, absolutely. In fact, hopefully by the middle of this month, those facilities will be fully equipped.
Okay, and of course that brings up one of the biggest issues in the big storms that we had last year, communications. How do you let people know where to go, and how do those people get to those warming shelters? I mean, they can be miles away from where they live. What's the thinking there?
Well, the thinking is we have one in every council district that people know about ahead of time. So if you have an uncomfortable situation in your home to begin with, you should just be prepared maybe to go to an emergency shelter because you know maybe you can't get through the winter in your home. when we get into a blizzard situation, if we get the notice ahead of time, we will open those shelters. We will have blue lights outside of all those shelters so people know that they're open and they can go there for safety.
Speaking of communications, an issue that came up last year as well was communications with Erie County and really all of the facilities in this area that fight snow. Do you feel confident that the communication between Buffalo and Erie County will be better this year?
Since last winter, there has been constant communication between the city, the county, and the state. I set up an I set up a winter weather task force. The county Public Works Commissioner was part of that task force, participated in every single meeting. The state was part of that task force. So we feel good that the communication has been very extensive since last winter, and that we will be able to work together in a very effective fashion to protect the residents of the city and the region.
How is your communication with the Erie County Executive?
My communication with County Executive Polenkars is good. I have seen him many times since last winter, and our communication is good.
He's running for re-election. Do you endorse him for re-election?
I do support him for re-election.
Okay. This plan has both the Tier 2 and Tier 3 level storms. It relies on private contractors to help with the snow clearing. In other words, the worse the storm is, then we start bringing in private contractors.
That's right.
Are those private contractors on board? Do they know who they are? Do they know when their services are needed? Or do we wait until the situation is upon us?
No, we don't wait. Pre-preparation is important. We know who those private contractors are. They know that we will be calling them if we get into a November type of situation, which was historic snowfall, or if we get into a December situation, which was one-in-a-generation snowfall. And we've raised our budget for private contractors to $1 million, which is 350% more than we had in the city budget for last winter.
Okay. We're going to run out of time. Of course, I have a million other questions, but I want to get to something that you want to talk about, and that is the PAL auction coming up. Tell us about it.
The Police Athletic League auction coming up next week, Thursday, November 9th. It's the biggest fundraiser for the Police Athletic League. PAL serves over 20,000 youth with educational, recreational programs every year, and it's important for us to support the youth of our community.
That's coming up on Thursday. Now, is the public invited to come there? Everybody is welcome, right?
Yeah, everybody's welcome. The public is invited. It is a ticketed event. The money that is raised in the ticket price will go to programming for our young people.
Okay, very good. Finally, of course, you know, I can't let you get away without asking you the question I've been asking you for months, because one of these days you're going to give me the answer. But give me an answer now.
Okay.
Have you had communication in this last month with Buffalo State about the job as president of Buffalo State?
I have not had communication in the last month with Buffalo State about the job at Buffalo State University, but I will say that Buffalo State is one of the finest academic institutions in our country, and any student pursuing higher education should consider Buffalo State University.
Okay. Have you had communication with any other entity about a job for you, Mayor?
No, I'm focused on my job as mayor of the city of Buffalo. That's what gets me charged up and getting out of bed every morning to do the best job that I can for the residents of our community.
Okay. Thank you so much, Mayor. You know I'll keep asking.
I know you will.
Keep at it. All right. Thank you so much for coming in today.
Thank you, Jackie.